Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be reviewing the San Martin SN008-G. This watch is available from San Martin official store on AliExpress in two versions, the PT5000 version and the SW200-1 version. There is a sale event starting on AliExpress tomorrow, the 23rd of August, and the sale event runs until the 27th of August. So the prices will be discounted during the sale event to as follows. The PT5000 version will be $313 and the SW200-1 version will be $438. So an excellent time to purchase the piece during the AliExpress sale event. So firstly, let's look at the box that the watch comes in, and then I'll talk you through the other items one gets with a piece. So the SN008-G comes in a black pelican style case which is made from plastic, and the interior is fully lined with two foam panels, as you can see. So it does an excellent job of protecting the watch in shipping, and I like this black plastic pelican style case. It's very aesthetically pleasing and also very durable. With regards to the other items, this is the owner's instruction manual. It is concise, it has good diagrams and good clear instructions in English which detail the operation of the movement used in the piece, which is the PT5000 or alternatively the SW200-1. This is the warranty card, and as you can see it's unusual as it's circular rather than being the conventional rectangular shape. Stamped with a San Martin stamp and filled in with a date of purchase. I'm pleased to report that the SN008-G is covered by a 12-month international guarantee when one purchases it from San Martin official store on AliExpress. One also gets this card with a QR code for your iPhone or Android, and it invites you to scan the QR code and leave a review of San Martin watches, and San Martin then respond to feedback. For example, if you give negative comments, they reply to the negative comments and try to resolve them in future models. This is the plastic tag which comes with the watch, and lastly this is the high quality nylon Nato strap which comes with the watch. It's made from seatbelt weave nylon, which is made to a high standard. The keepers are stitched into position either side, as you can see, flawless stitching. Solid 316L grade stainless steel hardware throughout. The two keepers are fixed, and then we have a heavy gauge of metal for the buckle and tang. I like the stitching, absolutely flawless throughout. And the seatbelt weave nylon reminds me of ballistic nylon, very tough and hard wearing, but also very comfortable and supple to wear for long periods of time. And as you can see, it has oval shape cutout holes, which means it's going to resist fraying because the shape of the tang which fits through the holes is a good fit to the oval holes in the Nato. Often with Nato straps the circular holes are too small for the tang, and inevitably what happens is a collector tries to force an oval shaped tang through a round hole, and that accelerates the wear, it expedites it, and the strap begins to fray. So this is a high quality strap and it's going to last for a good length of time, and I think it's a credit to San Martin that are including this good quality strap with the watch. So with regards to the specification of the piece, this is the San Martin SN008-G. The watch is clearly an homage to the Tudor Black Bay 58. I've previously owned a Tudor Black Bay which is 41mm, and I've also reviewed the Tudor Black Bay 58 on my channel. So I'm pleased to report that this does a very good job of being an homage to the Black Bay 58. Similar proportions, although I actually prefer the proportions of this SN008-G because it is a 40mm. The Black Bay is 41, but the Black Bay 58 is slightly smaller at 39. So this is just between the two. 48mm lug to lug measurement, and it has a thickness of 11.8mm. The lug width is 20mm, and the oyster style bracelet, which is rivet linked, tapers from 20mm at the lugs down to the 2-button push clasp. The clasp is signed to a high standard with the San Martin Hex logo, and I find it to be very aesthetically pleasing. The dome sapphire crystal is absolutely beautiful to look at, nice characteristic distortion, and it has clear AR coating on the underside which does reduce the glare and the highly reflective nature of the silver applied indices and the snowflake style hands. The dial is matte blue, but it has a metallic sheen to it which does add interest. And I want to give due credit to San Martin because I actually think the match of the blue ceramic bezel insert and the tone of the blue dial is better done on the SN008-G than the Tudor Black Bay 58, this is an homage to. I've previously reviewed the blue version of the Black Bay 58, and one thing I disliked about it was the colour mismatch of the matte blue dial and the blue aluminium bezel insert. Really, I think this is the watch that Tudor should be making, a 40mm Black Bay rather than the 41mm version, or alternatively a 39mm Black Bay 58 version. 40mm is perfect for all wrist sizes, regardless of whether you're a collector with a 6 to 7 inch wrist or a 7 to 8 inch wrist. I really think that Tudor should be making the Black Bay in this 40mm size with a 20mm lug width. The 20mm bracelet perfectly balances the 40mm head of the piece. San Martin have got the proportions done to perfection. As you'll know from my previous reviews, I consider 48mm to be the sweet spot with regards to lug to lug measurement, and this is precisely 48mm. So regardless of whether you have a 6 to 7 inch wrist or a 7 to 8 inch wrist, you will find the 48mm lug to lug measurement to fit you to perfection. Another thing I really like about it, and again San Martin deserve full credit for, is getting the thickness down to only 11.8mm, including the domed sapphire crystal, and that is very impressive because it really is the minimum thickness one can get with a Seiko NH35A automatic, which is a comparatively thick movement. It's something I disliked when I owned my Tudor Black Bay, which is a 41mm. It has rather tall, thick slab sides to the flanks of the case, and I dislike the top-heavy feeling the tall piece gave. Now, the Black Bay 58, I found that to be slightly too small at 39mm for my 8 inch wrist, and although it has thinner lugs, thinner slabs to the side of the case, the flanks actually are lower profile on the 58, it still is a tall top-heavy piece, bearing in mind it's only a 39mm case. But San Martin have got the proportions correct. They're better done than both the Black Bay and the Black Bay 58 because it's 40mm diameter and it has a perfect 48mm lug to lug, but it only has 11.8mm thickness, so it's thinner than a Black Bay 58, and it also has a shorter lug to lug measurement than the Black Bay 41mm, so the proportions are better. The Black Bay has a 22mm lug width for the 41mm case. This has a 20mm lug width, and that better balances the 40mm case size. I really like the female pivoted end links. Now, the early version of the SN008-G had male end links, and they were quite long. Although the lug to lug measurement is 48mm, the long male end links made the effective lug to lug measurement over 50mm with the early version. So San Martin responded to criticism about the long male end links, and they changed them to these female pivoted end links, and as you can see, that is a notable enhancement. The female pivoted end links are very similar to the Tudor Black Bay 58, and as you can see, they allow the end of the oyster style rivet bracelet to move underneath the ends of the lugs, and that gives the perfect fit because it allows the end links of the bracelet to fit very snugly to the wrist. Even if you are a collector with a smaller wrist of 6 to 7 inches, the end of the bracelet will pull tight underneath the case. Now, with regards to the bezel, this is something I really like because they have got the colour match between the ceramic bezel and the matte blue dial done to perfection. When I reviewed the blue version of the Black Bay 58, it's something I disliked. The aluminium bezel insert and the matte blue dial don't match. The two tones of blue are slightly off. But San Martin have got the colour tones very well matched. I really like the glossy finish of the ceramic bezel insert, which matches the matte blue dial very well. The colour tone is very well matched. Coin edge finish to the solid 316L grade stainless steel bezel. The teeth are in the coin edge finishing are done to perfection. Absolutely beautiful to look at. Lovely luster to the 316L grade stainless steel flanks, as you can see, brushed satin finish on the flanks. Nice large chamfer bevel machined to the edges of the case, which mark the transition between the tops of the lugs and the flanks. Absolutely beautiful bezel. It's just, the bevel is beautiful. So let's test the bezel action. 120 click unidirectional bezel, as one would expect. Good firm resistance to the bezel. The clicks feel even all the way through the 360 degrees of rotation. No back play whatsoever, no lateral side to side play. It feels quite tight, good crisp clicks, nice loud audible clicks which feel and sound very good. So let's check the alignments of the Loom pip and triangle at 12 o'clock. I've just gone past it, so I'll go through the cycle again. Let's see if I can get it correct. Yes, that's perfect. So the Loom pip and triangle align perfectly with the 12 o'clock index on the dial. No alignment issues whatsoever. No lateral side-to-side play and no back play whatsoever. Very well executed 120 click unidirectional bezel. So let's test the crown action. Coin edge finish crown, low profile, signed with the San Martin S. Now, this is the one negative of the watch, and I have suggested to San Martin that they change this S emblem. It looks like a dollar sign of the US dollar, which I don't like. I think a San Martin hex logo would be better, and I understand they're considering doing this in future models. So let's test the action. Silky smooth thread interface between the internal thread of the solid 316L grade stainless steel crown and the external thread of the stainless steel crown tube. Good firm resistance to the thread action, but it feels like a good tight fit. So in the first position, it is in the manual wind position, and one can manually wind the movement. This is the PT5000 version, not the SW200-1 version. And it feels indistinguishable between the ETA 2824-2. So the PT5000 is effectively a clone of the ETA 2824-2, which is a reliable, well-proven movement. 25 joules, and it has the same architecture to the movement. So one can feel the firm resistance of the mainspring gradually building up. Now, pulling it out to the final position is the time setting position, and it's silky smooth to rotate the snowflake style hands clockwise and anti-clockwise to set the time. And it has hacking, as you can see. I've now hacked the movement and stopped the second hand dead. Pushing it back in, it's got a nice positive click which restarts the movement. Now, it's got a firm resistance to it, and if you're unfamiliar with it, if you're used to NH35A movements, for example, or the Sellita SW200-1, it will take some getting used to, because it takes quite a lot of force. You have to really push in the winding stem into the movement to get the crown to click in, and then it begins to pick up the thread immediately. So the interface between the threading is excellent, but there is good firm resistance. It feels exactly the same as an ETA 2824-2. So I like that firm resistance. It's a good tight movement. So with regards to the quality of the Loom, let's test the Loom and we'll see how it performs when it's charged up to its absolute maximum. So as always, I'm going to use my 100 UV LED torch to charge it up to its absolute peak. Right, so that's now fully charged, and as you can see, it has not disappointed. This is incredible Loom performance. BGW9 Super Luminova. As I've discussed, this watch is available in two versions, a black dial version and a blue dial version respectively. The black dial version uses C3 Super Luminova, which glows green. This blue dial version, as you can see, uses BGW9 Super Luminova. One of my personal favourites. Looks very similar to Rolex Chromolite and also very close to the Loom Tudor use, and as you can see, it is glowing incredibly brightly and continuing to glow for a good length of time. The snowflake style hands allow for large Loom plots of BGW9 to be applied, and also the applied indices allow for large Loom plots. The Loom pip is glowing brightly on the ceramic bezel insert. It's just 10 out of 10 performance. They have not cut any corners with regards to the BGW9 used. It's very good quality. Right, so I'll give you a wrist shot and you can see how it fits on my 8-inch wrist. Now, I haven't sized the bracelet, and I'm often critical of watches not fitting my 8-inch wrist. However, I'm pleased to report that this actually fits my 8-inch wrist to perfection out of the box without sizing it. As you can see, I like to size my bracelets loose so that I can always slide an index finger underneath the bracelet clasp at all times. That is the correct sizing method because it allows for wrist expansion in warmer weather or if one is active. So straight out of the box, the bracelet fits my wrist to perfection. Good positive click to the 2-button push clasp, very reassuring. Absolutely finished to perfection. Beautiful luster to it, and beautiful luster to the 316L grade stainless steel oyster style bracelet with rivet links. Now, as I've discussed, the female pivoted end links give this watch a sublime fit. 48mm lug to lug measurement is perfection, as I've discussed, but the female end links which are pivoted give a sublime fit. They really do enhance it. They take it to the absolute limit of feel good factor and comfort level. This is one of the most comfortable watches I have ever worn on my wrist, and I say that as someone that owns a Rolex Oyster Perpetual 41, which is a very good fit for my 8-inch wrist. But when I wore this for the first time, I was immediately impressed by the comfort level of those female pivoted endings and the 48mm lug to lug measurement. It immediately feels comfortable due to the flat screw down case back, which I will show you. So feel good factor is outstanding and the comfort level is also outstanding. The dome sapphire crystal is absolutely beautiful to look at. I love the distortion of it and the clear AR coating. The blue ceramic bezel insert complements the coin edge finish bezel. It's one of the best looking watches I've reviewed. I absolutely love the look of it, and as I've discussed, the colour match between the blue ceramic bezel and the matte blue dial is just done to perfection. Actually better done than the Tudor Black Bay 58 blue, which I previously reviewed. I think that San Martin deserve full credit for getting the proportions correct, 40mm with a 20mm lug width, but also the colour match correct. This really is the watch that Tudor should be making, a Black Bay 58 in 48mm with a ceramic bezel insert rather than aluminium. So I'll show you the clasp because that's something else that I really like. Now I'm often critical of watches only having 3 micro adjustment holes in the clasp, and this is something I like about San Martin. They get so many things correct that other brands get incorrect. This has 4 micro adjustment holes, which is excellent because one can fine tune the length of the bracelet to perfection using those 4 micro adjustment holes. Good positive action to the 2 spring-loaded triggers, and the large bevel machined on the edge of the clasp is just absolutely beautiful. Flawless mirror polishing, brushed satin finish to the top, side, underside and flanks, and it's just an absolute beautiful luster to the 316L grade stainless steel. The interior is finished to perfection, brushed satin finish to the top, side, underside and flanks to the solid milled clasp. The end links are of good tight fit to the head of the piece. The screw down stainless steel case back is brushed satin finish. It's undecorated, unsigned, no engraving, but it has a coin edge finish similar to the Tudor Black Bay 58, which this is an homage to. So the quality of the finishing to the case back, which provides an effective hermetic seal to 200 meters, is 10 out of 10. The flat case back feels very comfortable to wear against the wrist, so that's something I really like about this piece. It is incredibly comfortable for a 40mm piece, and as I've discussed, it is 149 grams, and that is very close to 150 grams, which I consider to be the perfect weight for a 40mm piece. So lastly, I'll talk about the movement, which is one of my favourite aspects of the piece. This watch is available in 2 versions, with the Sellita SW200-1, which is Swiss made, or alternatively the PT5000, which is Chinese made. So this version uses the PT5000. It is a clone of the ETA 2824-2, so the architecture of the movement is exactly the same, 25 joules. It runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour and a frequency of 4 Hz. And it runs with a stated accuracy of plus or minus 12 seconds per day, but however I'm pleased to report that this one has been very well regulated by San Martin and it's running consistently at plus 3 seconds per day, which is actually within COSC chronometer limits. COSC chronometer limits are minus 4 to plus 6 seconds per day. So at plus 3 seconds per day, that is within chronometer limits. Now, the thing I really like about the PT5000 is it has hand binding and hacking, but if you look closely at the Snowflake second hand, it sweeps smoothly around the dial because it has a 4 Hz frequency. This is something I really like about 4 Hz movements. Running a movement at 28,800 vibrations per hour and 4 Hz gives that characteristic smooth sweep, and it's smoother than a movement running at 3 Hz, such as the Seiko NH35A, which runs at 21,600 vibrations per hour. The second hand on a 3 Hz movement judders or stutters around the dial, but with a 4 Hz movement like this PT5000, it's got a lovely smooth sweep to it. Now, this is a very accurate movement and it's also very reliable and well proven. The PT5000 has been in use since 2017 and many micro brands have used it as a lower cost alternative to the ETA 2824-2, which it is a clone of, alternatively the Sellita SW200-1, which is the same movement effectively, but the SW200-1 has an extra joule added. It has 26 joules rather than the 25 joules of the ETA 2824-2 or the PT5000. So I consider the PT5000 to be equal in quality to an ETA 2824-2 and also equal in quality to the Sellita SW200-1. There is no difference whatsoever in terms of the build quality and the quality control of the manufacture of the movements. The Calibre PT5000 is every bit as good as an ETA 2824-2. The only difference is it's made in China rather than being made in Switzerland, hence the lower production cost. So, outstanding movement and the correct choice for this San Martin SN008-G. Is it worth paying the extra to upgrade to a SW200-1? Well, that's subjective. It depends on whether you personally prefer the SW200-1 to the PT5000. Personally, I think the PT5000 is good enough, but it really comes down to your personal taste. So lastly, I'll summarise the piece. What do I think of it overall? Well, when I'm considering reviewing a watch on my channel, the watch should meet two criteria. It should be both excellent quality and excellent value at the respective price points. So the AliExpress sale event starts tomorrow. The prices are going to be discounted. PT5000 is going to be $313 US. The SW200-1 is $438 US respectively. So let's consider the price point of this discounted PT5000 at $313 US. This cannot be beaten. It is unprecedented value and unprecedented quality. The specification is absolutely loaded. Sapphire crystal with AR coating, ceramic bezel insert, PT5000 movement regulated to +3 seconds per day. The watch has no negatives whatsoever. The build quality, the quality control, the materials, the finishing throughout is 10 out of 10. I like everything about it, and most notably, this version has the updated female pivoted end links, which previously was the only negative to the watch. It used to have long male end links, which was a major negative. So they have corrected that with the female pivoted end links, so it now has no negatives. BGW9 Super Luminova, the specification really cannot be improved upon. It is outstanding. There is only one change I would like to see San Martin make, and I would like to see them change the S signed crown to the San Martin Hex version of the logo. That would be better, but that's a minor criticism. Everything else about the watch is superb. So I'm going to highly recommend it to you for your consideration. I'm going to declare it a champagne watch for lemonade money. I hope you've enjoyed my review of this San Martin SN008-G. Please feel free to post your own comments below the video. Thank you very much.